Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're shifting gears a little bit. Usually, we're breaking down complex ideas for, your own knowledge. But today, we're stepping into a specific role. We're putting on the jersey.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you're likely getting ready to walk into a room at Martin County PAL as a mentor.
That's right. And this isn't about just learning something interesting. This is prep. You're about to step into a leadership session with Coach AJ, and you're going to be surrounded by youth who are smart, skeptical, and very good at sniffing out inauthenticity.
The stakes feel real. I talk to mentors all the time who say, I want to help, but I am terrified of saying the wrong thing.
It's the classic mentor imposter syndrome.
Yeah, they worry about being that awkward adult who just tries too hard or misses the point.
Right. But here's the thing. You're not there to be a savior. You're not there to be a disciplinarian. You are there to be a mirror and an anchor.
Okay.
And to help you do that, we're going to unpack the toolkit for this week. It's the I Choose curriculum, specifically Lesson 1, Choices.
And we're going to treat this deep dive as your pre-game brief. We're not just reading the material. We are turning it into a field guide. We need to talk about the North Star of the session, the signals to listen for, the metaphors that actually land, and the traps you need to avoid.
Exactly. Think of it as downloading the operating system for the hour you're about to spend. The goal isn't to memorize a textbook. It's to have the right reflexes when a kid throws you a curveball.
So let's start with the big picture, the North Star. Every session needs a win condition. If we walk out of that room after an hour, what is the one thing we want to have landed?
It's a fundamental shift in perspective around one single word. Choice.
Choice, okay.
You have to understand the context. For a lot of us, we hear choice and we think freedom. We think I can take this job or that one. It's, expansive.
Right, it feels like a luxury.
But for many of the youth at Martin County PAL, choice feels heavy. It feels like a burden. It feels like a test they're constantly failing, or a trap where one wrong move costs them everything. So the North Star for this session is shifting choice from a burden to a gift.
From a burden to a gift, that's the core.
That is the anchor.
Yeah.
The source material leads with a John C. Maxwell quote. One of the greatest gifts you will ever receive is the gift to make choices.
Okay.
Coach AJ is trying to move these kids internally. He wants them to go from feeling like victims of circumstance, people who life just happens to being owners of a powerful tool.
So for the mentor listening right now, this is your litmus test. If the room gets chaotic or you get stuck in some weird debate, you need to stop and ask yourself one question.
Am I helping them see the gift?
That's it.
If the conversation isn't doing that, you're off track. Pivot back to the gift.
I love that. It simplifies everything. But let's be real. You can't just walk up to a teenager who's dealing with serious life stuff and say, hey, guess what? Choice is a gift.
No, they'll look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
They're going to put up shields.
Yeah.
And the material actually predicts exactly what those shields will look like. It outlines these specific signals you're going to hear.
Okay, let's break those down, because this is where a mentor can really get tripped up. The first signal is the big one. It's the I didn't choose this life defense.
You'll hear it in different ways. I didn't ask to be born here. My parents are messed up, so I'm messed up.
I didn't choose to be poor.
And the instinct, the burning instinct for a positive, well-meaning mentor is to jump in and say, no, you could overcome anything. Don't talk like that.
Which is the exact wrong move.
The exact wrong move. Because you're invalidating their reality. The first section of the material is literally called Life Begins with No Choices. It explicitly lists the facts. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose your race. You didn't choose your genetics or your starting line.
So if you argue with that, you look like you're gaslighting them. You lose all credibility.
Instantly, you lose the room. The mentor move here, and this is crucial, is to validate it. You look them in the eye and you say, you're absolutely right. You didn't choose your starting line. That's a fact.
That has to be disarming for them. They're expecting a lecture and they get agreement instead.
It lowers the temperature. But then, and this is the pivot, you don't stay there. You validate the start, but you challenge the finish, which leads to the second signal.
Which is?
Resignation. That whole it's too late for me attitude.
This is where the material brings in some really cool logic. It's almost mathematical. As age increases, the gift of choice increases.
I love this concept. Think of it as a graph. When you're a baby, your choice power is 0.
Yeah.
But every single year you stay alive, the bar on that graph goes up. You get more autonomy.
So the argument isn't ignore the past, it's look at the trajectory.
Precisely. The text frames time as a tool. The logic you give the student is, yes, you started with 0 choices. That sucks. But right now, at 15, 16, you have way more choices than you did at 5. And at 25, you'll have even more. This is the mechanism for catching up.
Catching up, that's the hook.
It's a powerful phrase. It acknowledges they're behind, but it gives them the engine to close the gap. The formula is more time equals Baird's. More choice equals more control.
It changes the narrative from I'm a victim to I'm just early in the process.
Correct. And that shift is everything. Now, concepts are great, but visuals are what stick. And the lesson relies on 2 heavy metaphors. We need to talk about the box and the mirror.
Let's start with the box. The cover art for the lesson is just a simple brown wrapped package.
Yeah, it's intentionally unglamorous. It's a brown box. The metaphor here is about the act of decision-making. We talked about choice being a burden. The box reframes every decision. Do I study? Do I fight? As a present waiting to be unwrapped.
It's an emotional unlock. It takes the fear out of the decision.
Right. So practically, in the room, how do you use this? Reinforcement. Let's say you're in a breakout group. A kid who's usually loud decides to sit back and listen to a peer. That's a micro choice.
A small win.
A huge win. As a mentor, you lean in, maybe just whisper it, and you say, hey, I saw that. That was you unwrapping the gift right there.
I like that. It gives you a shared language. It's not just good job. It ties it back to the core theme.
Exactly. It makes the abstract concrete. Now, the mirror is a bit more confrontational. This one comes from section 3. Everything in your life is a reflection of the choices you have made.
And they quote the coach, John Wooden. The choice you make makes you.
That's a heavy statement. The choice you make makes you. It implies total ownership.
Which can be a trigger, right? If a kid feels like, hey, the system did this to me.
For sure. You'll hear deflection. The teacher failed me. The cop was tripping. My mom's crazy.
Yeah.
They're describing things happening to them.
So the mentor acts as the mirror.
Yes, but think about what a mirror does. A mirror doesn't judge. It doesn't scream. It just reflects. So when a student complains about, say, getting detention, you don't scold them. You don't say, well, you shouldn't have done that.
What do you say?
You ask, okay, if your life is a reflection, what choice is this situation reflecting?
That's good. You force them to look at cause and effect without attacking them.
You're asking them to trace the line back. It's not about blame. It's about mechanics. If I see dirt on my face in the mirror, I don't get mad at the mirror. I watch my face.
That's a tough transition, though. It requires a lot of maturity. But there's a story in the curriculum that does a lot of the heavy lifting here. The narrative anchor. The unknown monk.
This is the highest leverage story in the entire packet. If you forget everything else, the signals, the math, the box, remember the monk.
Walk us through it. What's the story?
It's in section 4. So you have this monk, and we're not going to get bogged down in the history, but basically he's on his deathbed looking back at a life he feels he wasted.
That's tragic. Why?
Because of his strategy. When he was young, he wanted to change the world, but the world was too big, too chaotic. So he narrowed his scope. I'll change my nation.
Still a massive undertaking.
Too massive. He failed. So he narrows it again. I'll change my town. Fail again. Finally, as an old man, I'll change my family. And he couldn't even do that.
Sounds like a life of diminishing returns.
Until the epiphany. In his final moments, he realizes the order was wrong. He says, if I had only changed myself first.
The ripple effect.
Exactly. If he changed himself, he might have inspired his family. The family could have impacted the town, the nation, the world.
Why is this specific story the anchor? Why keep this in your back pocket?
Because it stops the blame game cold. Kids will say, I can't change my neighborhood, it's dangerous, or I can't change that my dad left. Those are world and family problems.
They're outside the monk's control.
Right. So when a kid spirals into how messed up their situation is, you drop the monk on them.
Ah.
You just say, remember the monk, where did he have to start? It centers the entire room back on the only thing they can control themselves. Right here, right now.
It empowers them by shrinking their world down to a manageable size. Just fix you.
Just fix you and the rest will follow. That's a very stoic concept, just wrapped in a fable.
Okay, so we have the high-level concepts, the metaphors, the story. Now I want to get into the weeds. Tactical, hand-to-hand combat moves. You're in a small group, kids checked out. Or worse, challenging the whole premise.
Right. The source material offers some specific high-leverage moves. There are 2 big ones I'd recommend. The first is for the I don't care attitude. We call it the no-choice paradox.
Explain that.
There's this brilliant line in section 2. Choosing not to choose is to let someone else make that choice for you.
That's a brain twister.
It is, and it's perfect for teens.
Mm-hmm.
See, their ultimate currency is autonomy. You can't tell me what to do. But when they say, I don't care, they think they're rebelling.
Well, but they're actually surrendering.
Exactly. They are handing the keys to someone else. So the mentor response is a gentle challenge. You say, hey, by not choosing, you're handing the gift to someone else. Who are you letting control your life right now? The judge, the teacher, the guy on the corner.
Ouch. That stings. You're framing their apathy as submission.
It wakes them up. Nobody wants to be a puppet.
What's the second move?
The second one addresses the why does it matter question. This is the value loop. Section 5 breaks down the benefits of choice. Value people, make myself valuable, do things others value.
This is for the kid who says, who cares if I get good grades? I'm not a sellout.
Right. They see self-improvement as selfish or maybe as betraying their crew. The value loop connects their personal upgrade to their loyalty.
How do you phrase that?
You use the language of assets. You say, when you upgrade yourself, when you make yourself more valuable, you become more valuable to your family and your friends. You frame good choices not as following rules, but as increasing your stock price so you can invest in the people you love.
That is huge. Get better so you can carry your team.
Exactly. It taps into their loyalty, which is usually their strongest value.
Okay, we've covered what to do. Let's put up some guardrails. What are the traps to avoid?
3 specific mistakes I see mentors make with this lesson. Mistake number 1, overteaching history.
The monk, 1100 AD.
And honestly, who cares? Don't spend 5 minutes explaining the Crusades. You will lose them. The date doesn't matter. The moral matters. Me first, world second. Keep it moving.
Mistake number 2.
Moralizing past choices. The material says, very few choices are final, and the choice you make today can be reversed.
I can see mentors wanting to share their own war stories. I made a mistake once.
Avoid that. If you focus too much on irreversible mistakes, you just create fear. The lesson is about hope. It's about the catch-up. The focus needs to be on the windshield, not the rearview mirror.
And the third mistake.
We touched on this at the beginning, but it bears repeating. Ignoring the start.
Invalidating their background.
If a mentor gets frustrated and says, it doesn't matter where you came from, they are directly contradicting the lesson.
And they're wrong.
They're wrong. Life doesn't begin equally. If you dismiss their valid complaints, you break the connection. The nuance is, yes, it matters. Yes, it's unfair. And D choice is the only tool you have to fix it.
The power of and D.
Always. Yes, and D.
All right. We've covered the toolkit, the signals, the traps. As we send these mentors off, let's circle back to their mindset. We said they are the mirrors.
You know, just your presence in that room proves the core thesis of the lesson. Age increases choice.
How so?
Think about it. You're an adult. You could be anywhere else right now. But you chose to be there. You're demonstrating that as you get older, you gain the power to give back.
You are the monk who fixed himself and is now trying to help the town.
You're living proof that the system works. So don't feel like you have to be perfect. You just need to show them that choices lead to freedom.
There's a reflection prompt in the material that I think is actually perfect for the mentors themselves. It asks, is there a choice you can make today that you haven't made before?
That's the question.
So here's our send-off. You ready? You've got the monk, you've got the box, you've got the mirror. Go be the anchor in that room.
And here's a final thought to chew on. We know the monk realized he had to start with himself to change the world. It raises a question for you, the mentor. What is the one choice you are avoiding in your own life today that is stopping your own ripple effect?
Something to think about. Good luck in there. You've got this.
Go get 'em.